Guys, welcome back to my channel. We are going to be playing with new makeup today. One of my very favorite things to do. Y'all seem to really like these videos. So let's go ahead and jump in. A couple of these things are like new to my collection. A couple of them are new to y'all, meaning I haven't really played with them on camera. Let's pull the hair back just a little bit. It's going to be a little poofy. I got a new curling device that I will for sure be talking to y'all about in my favorites this month, because I curled it yesterday morning and barely put any kind of like holding spray or anything in it, and it still has really nice texture. So stay tuned for that. All right, we're gonna go ahead and jump in. You know what? I did not get a corrector. I'm not gonna use a primer because the foundation type product that we're gonna be using, I don't know if I'm going to do a separate review on, so I want to kind of tell y'all a little bit about it, show you how it looks without a primer underneath, but I have worn primers underneath it, and it looks great too. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I just put a little bit of that under my eyes. Now, if I was using the Color Science 3-in-1, I would mix this with that, but I decided that to pull out my backup of the Jane Iredale Enlighten 1 concealer, just because I like to switch it up. So I found myself going between this and the Color Science kind of like every other day. Yes, it's like extra to do the Hollywood Flawless Filter, but I find that it adds just a little something under the eyes. A little something that I've been needing lately. A little bit over my lips because I have like a ring of discoloration right above my top lip. And then I have a vein right there. Then I want to cover up a little bit too. The foundation product we're going to be talking about is the new Bobbi Brown Skin Longwear Fluid Powder Foundation, Broad Spectrum SPF 20. I posted about this when I saw that they were launching it on my Instagram stories and asked how many of y'all want a review, and a ton of y'all said you did. So if you still want like a separate review, let me know, but I kind of feel like this is going to be a review in one. This is 1.4 fluid ounces for $40. From what I'm counting, it comes in 28 shades. I got the color N-042 Beige. I do feel like this is a little light on me. I could not remember. Honestly, I was too lazy to come up here and check what my natural or my foundation stick from Bobbi Brown is, which is in the color Natural. I should have gotten that. But we're going to make this work with a cream bronzer. So this is basically a first ever liquid to powder foundation from Bobbi Brown that self-sets into a comfortable soft matte finish, light coverage, matte finish, liquid formula. Okay, so it has this new kind of SPF screen in it that I don't know much about. It's Inzulazole 2%. And then the rest is titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. I need to research more on Inzulazole, but that is the SPF ingredient. Does not have any added fragrance. Does have sodium hyaluronate, which is hyaluronic acid. And it's formulated with a power protein complex to help skin look smooth and healthy. Lightweight, sweat-resistant formula, absorbs oil, and stays color true all day. It says it has blue light protection as well. So what I noticed when I first got this is I initially thought it, hearing like liquid to powder, that it was going to be a thicker formula. But you can probably hear how thin that is. You really need to shake this up well. And it comes out almost like a serum. I don't know if I'm going to be able to focus on this. It's very lightweight. See how it's like running down my hand? So this is the color Beige. Again, it works. Just y'all know I like bronzer. So we're going to start on this side. And I'm going to start with my fingers. Now, the actual directions of this say use a brush, sponge, or fingers. Like, it's personal preference. But you can see, like, this side of my face has more redness on it today than the other side. I always have one offender, one side of my face. You can see it's a very light coverage, and I feel like that's a lot of the negative reviews, is that how, like, this is like a tinted moisturizer. It never claims to be more than light coverage. So I think it's not very fair to fault a product for being what it claims to be. So this is the IT Cosmetics number 7 Heavenly Luxe. I am really into these like super lightweight not lightweight, but super light coverage foundation based products lately. I really want my skin to shine through. Now what I have noticed is that this is indeed a liquid to powder foundation. So when I have dry skin or flaky bits from some new skincare that I'm using, that I think I'm going to do a new skincare video soon, it will cling on to that. So if you have like super dry skin, I would not suggest this product. But already it has dried up on my hand. I don't know, I'm hoping you can see that, but it is, I mean, it's there. So we're going to use a powder today because I have a newer one, but you don't need to. If you have like normal to dry to even combo skin, this is going to be one that you don't need to set much at all, if at all. So that's it. Again, lighter coverage, totally okay with that. Is it like the most earth-shattering thing? Do I find myself reaching for it all the time? No. That spot is going to the Ilia SPF tint this month. But I don't dislike this at all. So let's get into the concealer. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Concealer Corrector. This is in the color LM9. It's in really nice glass packaging. And it's 5 milliliters. I can't speak today or any day, which is pretty on par with most of my other concealers. So this is the, I'm sure you've seen tons of like wear videos just on this concealer, but that's the Dofa, pretty normal. And I'm just going to go in. I like this color because it's not too light. It's more of like a skin tone. So, you know, I probably could pull off using this as my foundation. I have not tried doing that yet, but I'm sure it would work. So here's the lowdown of what I feel like on this concealer. It's got good coverage. I would say medium coverage. I tried it probably like 3 days in a row after I first got it, doing my normal like Hourglass powder, the Veil loose powder to set it. And I didn't dislike it. It wasn't like, wow, I love this concealer. It just wasn't. It wasn't like, holy cow, I can find myself using this and only this for a very long time and be happy. But I also couldn't pinpoint anything that was like horrible about it. It just wasn't great. It did crease a little bit on me. I don't know. It just didn't look the best. But then I invested in the Pat McGrath Labs Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Blurring Under Eye Powder. And my idea changed on the concealer. But when I think about it and I say it like that, I don't think my opinion really changed that much on the concealer. It just made me love this powder. Because any concealer I use this over, it looks amazing. I alluded to that in my last video. I think it was my last video about how much I like it. You will hear me talk about it in my favorites. I got the color Light, which looks like this scary white color. I could not tell you what the other colors look like. I bought this online, not in store. Before we do eyes, I am going to go ahead and set this just to show you how much I love it. So I'm going to go back in, take any of the creasing away from that concealer. Make sure it's super smooth. And then I'm going to take the Blendiful, any kind of powder puff sponge. And I'm going to, let me take this other mirror back. I'm going to tap it in to the product like this, okay? So you can see the white powder on there. I'm not going to tap this off or anything like that. I'm going to go straight under my eye and press it in. This is a very powdery powder. So you're going to get quite a bit of kick up. But I have found that I could go over and over and over, and it just looks really good under the eyes. It puts this like almost filter. Now I have to go in again and put these creases up. That's how much that concealer is collecting. And so even though it's like super white, you can see a little bit of white under my eyes, but once it settles in, it's not like awful. Now I have not tried any kind of flash photography with this, so I can't tell you whether or not it's going to flash back. You would think from the looks of it that it would, because it looks like the high definition powders that are the big offenders with flashback. Maybe getting the medium color would work better, but I like how this one looks, and I rarely ever take flash photography, so for me, I just don't care. I'm going to take the Sia Duo Face Sculpting Contour Stick, talked about in one of my other videos. This is in the color 102 Bronze. And I'm going to pick it up from the tube. And I'm going to just add a little bit of cream bronzer onto my skin because this Bobbi Brown, I feel like, is just light enough to make me look a little sick. So I need some coloring back in my life. So I'm filming this on a Monday. My kids were out of school today and they were out on Friday because my county had the first coronavirus, like, confirmed case. And so they decided to shut down all the schools to do a deep clean. Now, the case wasn't in the schools. It's just a man that lives in my county. You know, and I'm not opening this up for a debate about the coronavirus. So if anybody wants to debate in the comments, I'll just delete it. I'm just saying, I was talking to Chad and I'm like, so what are they going to do when the next person gets it? Because they will. I mean, it's a virus. It spreads. Somebody else is going to get it. Are they going to close school again? So my youngest, she asked me yesterday, she was like, maybe they'll close school for the rest of the year and we won't have to go back till next year. Like, she's all excited about it. And I'm like, no, honey, I don't think that's gonna happen. But honestly, you never know. Never knew. And it has been so sunny and gorgeous, like mid 60s, absolutely phenomenal the past, like, I don't know, 4 days, which we needed so bad. And now it is gloomy again, and it's supposed to rain for the next 5 days. So our house is like on a standstill because the brick guys are a week behind. No, a week behind. I wish. They're like 5 weeks behind. This week's going to put them another week behind. They don't want to do drywall till the brick is on. It's just, we're still on schedule because we were way ahead of schedule before this, but it's still like every time I want to see something else done every time I go out there, and that's not happening, but that's okay. It's going to happen, and it makes the end result that much sweeter. All right, I'm going to let all those cream products sink in, and let's start on the eyes. This is not like a new product. It's new to me because I quite honestly have used one shadow in it since I bought it, and I don't ever reach for it. It is the Natasha Denona Mini Glam Palette. Y'all, I got this in January. And like the beginning of January when it first launched. And I tried this one shimmer shade and I just never picked it up again. And I find that to be the case with most of the Natasha Denona palettes that I've had. And I know that people are going to be like, oh, but it's the best eyeshadow formula out there. I'm taking this Harlow color right here in my crease. They're going to say, oh, it's the best formula out there. You're not going to find better. And, you know, maybe that's true. I'm not saying her formula is not good. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying I don't ever reach for them for some reason or another. This is showing up darker on the eye than it is in the pan, which is not a bad thing because when you first look at it, at least for me, I'm like, I'm going to need a little bit of a darker, like, transition crease color, but this is actually ending up being exactly the tone that I want / need it to be. And this is the Wayne Goss number 16 brush. I'm just continuing to build that. Cortland's doing her makeup. She had to come in and get her brush. No, she doesn't get to wear it outside the house, but she does love to play with it, and I am like the last person that would ever begrudge her that because I know the joy that comes from it. Okay, I'm going to take my Essence Smoky Eye Brush, and I'm going to be bold and go into this color called Seed, which is this pretty dark color, and we're going to see how dark it is. I'm going to put it on my outer corner. I mean, this is like the eye look I do all the time, so nothing new there. I'm just kind of playing with these shadows since I have not done that yet. And I figure, launched within the last 2 months, that's new, right? I certainly haven't shown it on my channel, so it constitutes new that way for sure. This is applying nicely. I'm being a little messy with it for some reason today, but it seems to be blending out nicely. This is more of like a very straight up neutral palette to me. Like, these two colors are very neutral on the eye. They don't lean warm or cool. They're right in the middle, which a lot of people want. So I'm gonna take this color Golden Flesh. These names. And I'm going to try to apply that first. I don't really know that I want it to be this dark, but I'm just playing around. This is the BK Beauty 203 brush. Yeah, we're definitely going to top it with that lighter color. So this color is not applying bad with a brush. I do find most of her shimmer colors that I've ever played with anyways apply best with a finger. I'm not mad about this kind of coverage with that color because I didn't want it to be super dark anyways, but I am going to take my pinky and put it in this Fave color, which is that other shimmer on the outer corner. And I'm going to top that golden flesh color. Yeah, you can see how much more pigment you can get using your finger. So I don't dislike these shadows. I don't. I just, for some reason, never reach for them. That's all we're going to do on the top. So let's go ahead and set this. Again, I don't feel like it needs to. I mean, there's a little bit of tack to it, but I mean, it sets down nice. I'm going to use the Kogendo Mafanchi. I can't. Brightening Moisture Powder. I texted Abby when I was getting this and I'm like, do you want me to order you one? Because I've heard it's great. And so I did. And we were both loving it. So you can see it has this like powder effect to it. I believe this was limited edition last year. And I'm hoping that it is permanent now. Because this is just what it says. It is a natural brightening moisture powder. So it's not going to make your face matte. You can't really even see it, I don't feel like. It does have like a whiter color to it, but I don't feel like that really translates onto the face. So this is the La Mer powder brush. And I'm just going to lightly, because again, this foundation doesn't really need much. I'm just going to lightly tap that. And it just gives a nice, healthy look to the face. There's not any noticeable shimmers or anything like that. It just sets the It sets the foundation like I want it to without looking super powdery. And this is definitely a foundation that I do not want to wear a powdery matte powder with because it is more of that matte finish. I am going to top this cream bronzer, even though I don't really need to, but y'all know how I am about bronzers. I talked about this one in my last video, but it is my newest bronzer, and it is the Chantecaille Real Bronze, excuse me, in Goa. So this is the color right here. I do find that this is the more cool toned of the two. This is the darker of the two. I believe the other one's called Serena. And this one has more of a red undertone. I know somebody asked me that, but Serena is more of like a gold undertone. Whereas this one is more of like a neutral, cooler, redder undertone. And being that like kind of baked jelly formula, I do find that it works best with a natural hair brush versus a synthetic. So I am using the Refer P22 brush. It's very forgiving. So it looks super dark, but it applies just so nicely. And because I love bronzer, and this is a lighter foundation, I'm going to take a little bit on the sides of my nose, down my cheekbones, and on my chin. Not too much, just a little bit. So I've been loving that. Now, this is not new to me. I've had it actually since last year, but I don't know that I've ever talked about it on this channel. It is the Jane Iredale. I think they call it a golden bronzer, but this is not a bronzer. This is a highlight, at least for me, in the color Moon Glow. So these are her powder products, which have 4 different colors. I love all of them. I love these colors for eyeshadow, and these are the colors that I use for highlight. So I'm going to take my Anastasia A23 brush, kind of dip them into those 2 lighter colors, and apply it as a highlight. That looks really harsh on camera. We are going to buff it out, I promise. Now for blush, Persona Cosmetics sent me their brand new Super Blush colors. They have 2 colors. They come in these precious little white packaging. I love small blushes. I love them. You don't need them to be in bulky packaging. They travel so much better. I love them. My Jane Iredale, my Glow Skin Beauty, my Becca, my Osmosis. I love the size of those tiny little blushes. Now, I put on Instagram stories that I got these, and I asked which one y'all wanted me to try first, and it was an overwhelming Caramel, which is this really pretty mauve color. I did try that, and I should have already put it up on my stories how this looks with the swatch. So today I'm going to use this color in Georgia. So it's supposed to, these blushes are supposed to kind of perfect the skin and also like help improve the look of your pores. I don't really have large pores, so I can't speak to how it works for that, but I do love the way it looks. They have a slight tiny bit of a sheen, but it's nothing to like scare you away if you don't like shimmery cheeks. It's not like that kind of sheen. It's not a shimmer by any means. Just really pretty. And honestly, Persona can't do anything wrong in my book. Everything they have brought out, I have loved. Now I am going to buff with my Radiant Light because everybody deserves to have a filter on their face, and that's what these powders do. I really only buff on my cheeks, and that just looks harsher in the camera than it does in real life. You just have to take my word on it, because this camera can sometimes do me wrong. I don't do it on my forehead unless I feel like my bronzer looks super patchy there, because I don't really like to have a shimmery forehead too much. And this does leave a nice sheen to the skin. Before we go and do the lower lash line real quick, I'm going to spritz with my Beautycounter Nourishing Rosewater Mist. Oh, which feels so good and just really takes any kind of like powdery look down. And nothing revolutionary. I think I'm just going to go into this color right here for under the eyes, because I feel like they're a little bit dark up top, so I don't want to do too much on the bottom. Just want to even it out a little bit. And I love how I do these looks on days where I'm going to the most mundane places. Like I'm going to sign a lease at a storage unit today, because we've got to start packing up our house, which y'all please pray for my family's sanity during that time, because if there is one thing I absolutely despise, it is selling a house. And I'm not quite sure how we're going to do it with our 100 and cajillion pound dog down there, having to get him out of the house every single time. But I've got to start the process of packing all the closets up, and I just dread it. I dread it. But anyhow, I'm going to go back into this Moon Glow powder, and I'm going to take this color right here. I really like this for inner corner and brow bone highlight. So I'm not going to do mascara on camera because it's just boring, but I will tell you that I did open up a new mascara that I've been loving, my Chanel Le Volume. Obviously, my favorite mascara. I love it, but this is actually in brown. And I'll be talking about this in my favorites too, because I have absolutely fallen in love with the color brown in this mascara. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then we'll be back to do quick lips, and then we will be done. So my lips, I always put like the foundation and concealer over them as I'm applying them, and because that foundation is more for like an oily skin, my lips feel a little dry. So all we're gonna do is a lip gloss. This is the Crushed Oil Infused Gloss from Bobbi Brown. Talked about this in another one of my videos. They actually sent me one color, and I bought this color. So this is called Sweet Talk, and it's, y'all, it's a nude. These feel so good on the lips. They are, I mean, they're very moisturizing, but they're not as like oily as you would think an oil infused lip gloss is. So it's not a straight lip oil. It is an oil infused gloss. How many times can I say that? So this is the final look. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'm looking at everything I used. If I haven't said, I do like this. Again, it's not my absolute favorite, but here's the thing. I don't have oily skin. So I do think that for an oily skin person, this would be great. And I'm not saying I won't ever use this. I think I'm going to reach for this a lot more in the summer, because it does last all day, and it does have that kind of oil control look and feeling to it. So definitely not a fail by any means. Love the blushes, love the under eye powder. This is just a kind of meh for me. Like, I think you could pass on it. I have other concealers I like better, but it does work really well with that under eye powder. Love the powder, love the bronzer, love the garbage truck, love my dog barking at the garbage truck. Love the lip gloss and the highlight. And I don't dislike these. I mean, this is a mini palette, so you're not going to be able to get 20 different looks out of it, but for travel, stuff like this is great. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. As always, be sure and like and subscribe before you leave so you don't miss out on any future videos. And I hope y'all all go out and have a very blessed day.